Hey guys, I'm Emma and I'm telling it like it is, with a hint of sarcasm and a truckload of exaggeration. So, pet peeves. Why this expression starts with the word pet is beyond me. Already it's not something people like to entertain, much less feed, pet, or nurture. I don't have one, so what could I possibly know? Maybe that's a good thing. In any case, people are problematic and people result in pet peeves. Say that 10 times fast. So, here's 12 pet peeves that I personally can't stand. 1. Flemming Phoebe. Phlegm, a fancy word for all those nose-mouth related issues. If you have to spit, hack, sniffle, clear your throat once in a while, that's fine. If it's a near constant, please get that checked or resolved one way or the other. Now, if you hack, please go back to kindergarten and learn how to use a Kleenex. I'm serious. Unless you have a proven medical condition that makes a Kleenex a non-effective solution to your blocked up nose, I shouldn't have to also suffer hearing it for 1+ hour. And unless you have literal poison in your mouth, why are you spitting on the streets? In sports like soccer, spitting is viewed as more offensive than tackling. Whoever made up that rule was probably just as frustrated as I am. Not only does it lack class, but I think you can manage to swallow your spit like the rest of us. Like you do, usually, on a more than daily basis. Moving on. 2. Interrupting Ivan. This is a huge no-no with me, especially when it's done on purpose and when I'm doing my job. Even if you disagree with me, even if you supposedly know what I'm going to say, even if you're not interested in what I'm going to say, can I, for the love of God, just say my piece? And often enough, people interrupt me and 1. Assume what I'm going to say and get it 1000% wrong, and 2. Piss me off 1000% of the time. So yeah, that's just not a good combo. I could maybe forgive you for interrupting me if we're walking down the street and you're saving me from a truck or something with a watch out, but anything short of that, you should watch out. Now, accidental interrupting does happen sometimes. Even I'm not perfect on that account. But if it's a habit, I'd recommend letting others speaking their mind for once. Also, too, I tend to forget about what I was going to say over my sheer rage that you dared to interrupt me. So no, it's not conducive to a real conversation between real, equal humans. Plus, too, I see a trend in vanity and self-absorption with people who are chronic interrupters. I guess there isn't a lot of room for others when you consistently shut down what others are trying to tell you. Just saying. Since none of you can interrupt me right now. Ha. Now, if you do actually let me speak my mind, for Pete's sake, don't be a 3. Nelly Naysayer. Look, the world is a mess, and we all know it. Pollution, poverty, the patriarchy, we've got issues. So why remind me? As a recovering pessimist, I don't need you to rain down on my parade as I try to find the small good things that make this world okay enough to live in. Sometimes I don't mind working, paying taxes, or waiting on hold indefinitely. I just do it, and I find ways to make it all a bit more enjoyable, like making sure I have coffee at work, or knitting when I'm stuck on hold, or reading a novel and bringing myself snacks when I'm stuck in a waiting room. When it comes to improving something, the limit is my imagination. But someone else's negativity just dries up the well of creativity I've dug up inside of me. So just stay away from me, you water leech. 4. Flashback Frank. If I hear a story once is enough. I do not care if it's the only exciting thing that's happened to you all week, or all month, or all of your life. Once is enough. Okay, so I'm sometimes guilty of repeating stories because I don't remember telling that person. But I'll usually preface it with a "did I tell you about blank" if I'm uncertain. And regardless, if you gently tell me that you've already heard that story, I can move on. But people who go on and on and on about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again just bore me to the brink of death. Maybe I should be less kind-hearted and interrupt them and say, "You've already told me this story." But what I usually do is try to change the topic as smoothly as possible. But sometimes this doesn't work on someone who thinks they're telling you this epic story for the first time. At that point, I just grin and bear it. Just grin and bear. And silently grind my teeth. 5. Humming Harry and singing Sally. We get it. You like music. Now, shut up. If you're happy and you know it, keep it to yourself. But if you absolutely have to hum or sing, you better have won the lottery, my friend. And be willing to pay the price for it, if you know what I mean. Next. 6. Egotistical Emma. Not me, of course. Other Emmas. But seriously, those people who only talk about themselves, never ask about others, that talk nonstop. Hey, this is a YouTube channel. And I do listen to people when I have the chance to, which is why I always invite you to leave me nice comments so I can read them and let them boost my ego. Because I'm an uncertain and caring person like you, right? Right? Your silence concerns me. 7. Lying Larry. I get the occasional white lie here and there, or a lie to protect me from unnecessary torment. But I swear, I better not catch you in a lie, and you'd better have a very good reason to lie to me to begin with. I just really don't get people who lie to themselves and others and then never really take stock of their shortcomings. I personally try to be a self-aware and honest person that knows her weaknesses and tries to work through them, kind of like a leg day at the gym, if I went to the gym. But seriously, maybe some of my ire stems from the fact that I'm a terrible liar to begin with. I go bright red, and boy, does everyone know it. 8. Humans, in general. Because being a human should be considered a pet peeve. They are all just so annoying. I kid. Not really, but okay, I should really just stop myself now. Moving on. 9. Third person Thomas. What is this, you ask? Well, this is someone who talks about you in the third person, when you are in the same room as they are. Emma is so nice. Emma is so pretty. Well, that's kind of nice, but it's also bloody awkward. And it has happened to me before. On a first date. Now, you're also a third person Thomas if you refer to yourself in the third person. A slight variation, but still pretty weird. 10. Backstabbing Betty. This sounds like the name for a doll. A horror movie doll, potentially? Anyway, Backstabbing Betty basically talks behind your back. Usually, people tell you when Betty has been gossiping. But in very rare instances, you actually catch Betty doing what she does best. And I have an anecdote about this for you. Yay, story time! So, here's a common student nightmare. I missed a final exam. It was dumb. I had just misread the start time of my exam. Now, I did get to take it the same day without penalty, but as I took the bus home, I overheard 2 girls of my class laughing about me and my mistake. So, I did what any semi-decent person would do. I went over to them, thanked them for their kindness, and I got off at my stop. Let's just say things were chilly between us after that incident. But hey, I was the epitome of understanding. I thanked them. I could have done way worse. 11. Precise Priscilla. Look, if you speak and write perfectly 100% of the time, good for you. I, for one, am not a robot, nor do I pretend to be one. So, don't correct me for not being one. One of the joys of growing up with 2 languages is that I pronounce both French and English words wrong. And I can appreciate a discreet occasional warning, but please don't broadcast it to the entire world. Also, don't do it every single time, every single day. Not that I screw up on a daily basis, but heck if I know. Growing up in Montreal, the funniest part is when people try to correct my French or English, but I know for a fact that I'm right and they're wrong. At that point, I just shake my head and move on. Or I rib them back if they're a friend. Hey, maybe Priscilla is my middle name. 12. Ever-changing Evans. This is what happens when you have a clear case of a person that runs hot, then cold. Like 1 second, you're their best friend in the whole wide, wild world, and then you're their arch nemesis. I have a small comment to guys in this section too. If I'm awesome enough for you to befriend me in the hopes of going out with me, then I should be good enough to be your friend if I reject you. Straight up. I get that maybe your ego, feelings, manhood, something else might be hurt. But I've had my fair share of rejection, and I can remain friends with a guy who doesn't feel the same way about me. I don't believe that I could be that much of a bigger person than you are, considering how tiny I am. So, now that I've enumerated most of the pet peeves that bug me, let me be honest. I confess to doing 7 of these myself. Hypocritical much? I know. But hey, number 8 is being human, and I'm a human, so anyway, tell me below, what's the pet peeve you just can't stand? Thanks, guys.